After a big speech tonight, one thing is clear: our future is on shaky ground. Either way the pendulum swings, we are in trouble, with people on both sides saying that if they don't get their way, that they need to get unhinged. We are all hoping that this is not the case, but it is likely so. Again, in the next 10 minutes, we're actually going to catch you up on everything you need to know. First off, T-Man Rally Gottman left a message on a gaming platform right before the event. This is according to the sources. Now, again, everything with this story, if you don't follow our channel, everything should be taken with a huge cup of salt right now, especially since everything is on shaky ground as far as the information that's coming out. And, of course, many people do not believe exactly what is being said. But investigators working to determine a motive behind the attempted event of former President DT found a message posted to the gaming platform Steam that they believe was authored by the suspect, in which he had said, quote, "July 13th will be my premiere. Watch as it unfolds," according to 3 law enforcement sources briefed on the probe. Investigators also found internet searches for both T-Man and President JB on the phone belonging to Thomas, and of course sources familiar with the investigation told ABC News. Had searched for the dates of T-Man's rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, and those for the National Convention in Chicago. So, wait a second. Are they saying that he may have been targeting both? If he was looking at the, of course, the other convention and not this current one. And then, of course, most people search these things. So people commented, well, why didn't they catch him? I mean, how many people just searched T-Man and the same things probably today? But again, this is very, very odd. A lot of people are really on the fence about what is really going on. So we're going to talk about it. Before we move any further, I do want to remind you guys we're independent, and if you want to back yourself up as far as antibiotics go, there's a great service. It's very easy. It's a telehealth appointment that you get to talk to a board-certified doctor. Go to learn more over at marfooglenews.com/Jace, and you can check out things like the Jace case, which actually has a backup supply of antibiotics, and you can even add things like albuterol and even things that are a little bit harder to get. So go check it out. Again, that is a very easy service to use. Make sure to use the code MARF not only to save money, but also to help our channel grow as well. They also have something called Jace Daily, which is, of course, you can actually get up to a year's supply of your regular medications. Go over and check it out, marfooglenews.com/Jace. Thanks for sharing us out more than anything. Let's bring in my co-host/internet brother, Dex James. What is going on, and how are you doing today?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine.
So, first of all, the message, it seems like after every one of these events, there's always some sort of trail, and I'm sure that we're probably going to see even more of a trail, and it's going to lead perfectly up to what they say is going on. They're going to say that they had memos and that this... I'm just saying, this is my opinion. They're probably going to come out with some story saying that he's already told a classmate or something like this, and he was already being watched by a school counselor or something. That's just something that I would not be surprised by, right? But as far as the message on Steam... if this went the other way, he would have went into... He's still going to go in history books, but he would have literally been taught in history class for, generations on. This would be 200 years down the road. People in history class would be learning his name. They most likely will not know his name because it was not a success. Dex, do you get what I mean? He'll still be in the history books. But just like you don't remember the unsuccessful name of the guy who tried to take out so-and-so, you don't remember this one, or at least people won't in the future. If he did succeed, yes, his name would have went down in the history books, or at least the name they've given us. What do you think about the message beforehand? They're basically saying it's premeditated, right?
Well, yeah, certainly. It's what it sounds like. It sounds like he was searching for information, and it sounds like he put out a message, or at least they're telling us he put out a message. I know a lot of people had spotted this Steam account, and it's just now that they're reporting it. And when I say they're reporting it, the media doesn't typically report much that comes off of social from all the independents that go out and do all their own sleuthing. They typically wait and only report what the official investigators give them. So once the investigators agree and say, oh yeah, we found this, Steam account, and we found that, then that's when you'll see the news media. So this is really the media reporting about it. It's really the feds coming out and agreeing that that's what it was, and that's that everything that we had found online about this was true, at least at this part of it. There's also discussion too going on right now that says there may be another phone that had some other numbers on it, and they're trying to track down. I think it was like 40 something numbers. They're trying to track down the people that belong to those phone numbers as well. And I think part of the other information that came out of the phone issue was that he was using, as they call it, secured systems in 3 different countries. Now, I would interpret that to mean he used a VPN, and he, used a VPN in, 3 of these different countries. I think it was Germany and Netherlands and another location. But that could be interpreted other ways. It just seems the logical thing would be that he probably had a VPN and used 3 different locations, the way they phrased it. They didn't really provide a lot of details.
Sounds super sketch, to say the least. Now, you probably know my opinion on this, but I'm withholding my belief in whatever happened with this kid forever. I mean, we just covered last night or the night before that his parents just a few hours before said that he was they called and reported him missing. This is just weird. The whole thing is, of course, absolutely absurd. So we'll continue to follow it. We'll give you all of the official updates, but also we'll give you all of the side updates as well. And then the JB campaign insists that the president is staying in this race, despite reports that he's wavering. Now, I don't know if you guys saw my tweet, or I guess if you saw his tweet, right? Dex, did you see my tweet earlier of JB? He straight up just said, "I'm sick."
Oh yeah, and everybody had a field day with that.
It was
replies
weird.
Were hilarious.
It was weird. It was. So he's got all these other tweets talking about T-Man, and then his last tweet was just, "I'm sick." I mean, I could totally see something like Elon posting, "I'm sick." I thought it was a parody account because I didn't I was like, why is the checkmark grayed out? And then I was thinking, this must be the parody. The parody accounts get me all the time because they don't have it. You have to click on them to see that this is a parody account, or you have to see their full name. But it wasn't. It was the real one, and he doesn't personally get on his Twitter. That's the thing. I guarantee you he's got some PR person that does all of his tweets. If you look at all of his tweets, they're all very official capacity, wrote as if, like, it's, a lot of them are wrote as if it's somebody else. And then he has these occasional ones that sound like it's him. For him to just say, "I'm sick," it was like somebody hacked his thing and we're joking around like, haha, "I'm sick." I mean, didn't you get that? It just looked weird.
Yeah, did you see the follow-up, though? So I think it was more of a PR stunt, not by him himself, because I don't even think he knows how to use a phone or Twitter or X or anything like that. Because what they did was they posted, "I'm sick," and then they waited. And then they added a post to the post, and they said, "Of Elon Musk and his rich buddies trying to buy this selection process that's coming up, et cetera, et cetera." So they made it
so stupid.
So that they either put it out there, and then they had to backtrack and say, "Well, what do we do to make it look like we didn't put something dumb?" Because when they put it up, everybody's responses to it was hilarious. Like, they were just taking it to the extreme as far as what it meant. And they either had to backtrack and add that one in, or this was just part of a ploy. It was like to get everybody's attention and then put the rest of the story on it, moments later. And it wasn't moments later; it was a little bit later.
Yeah, it was just kind of random. Wait, did they? Okay, so here it is. Here's some of the responses. Again, this matters because he just announced that if he had any kind of medical condition, that would be the one condition that he would step down. He's like, "Just so you know, I would step down. If there was a medical condition that called for it, I would step down." The same day that was put out, he then announces that he has the cough, right? And another thing is people are releasing videos, and I don't know if this is true, but there was some videos of him at a Mexican restaurant, of him shaking hands of everybody at the restaurant. And apparently it was like earlier that day or the day before. Basically, he was just shaking a bunch of hands, and then he tested positive. So I don't know if that is absolutely true, but obviously people post a lot of fake videos. But I would believe it. Every single day the president's going to be shaking hands. So It's they're always on some sort of PR tour. I mean, half the time they're even when they're working, they're on just some PR tour. Loomer says we know, resign. Clown World says we know. DT got shot. What's your point? What? Not grateful to be Veed and Bead. Get well soon. We need you back in the race. We've got. He finally tells the truth. Double BOSSTTED. Right. Everybody says it must be the boost. Right. So there was a lot of comments about, and then there was a lot of videos posted of him essentially saying if you get the thing and the backup things, that you're not going to get the other thing. So that video has been viral all over the place. And then they're saying that he's staying in the race even though he's sick. Our campaign is not working through any scenarios where President JB is not at the top of the ticket. He is and will be the nominee. JB Principal Deputy Campaign Manager Quentin Folks told reporters at a news conference. So for all the people that are calling for it, and even people on his own party saying you guys need to replace him like Clooney, this is a big deal, because the longer it goes, the more dramatic anything will be, as if they do end up switching him out. Dex, if they actually wait and do this even later, it's going to cause even more trauma to the entire system, right?
Yeah, it's really sounds like it's going to happen. And the interesting thing is this story just keeps flip-flopping back and forth. We've got another story where a reporter was talking with his source that was inside that basically said they've already come to an agreement, and the agreement is he will be stepping down. It'll probably be this weekend, maybe Sunday, and he said that if he does, he won't actually endorse Harris. Instead, he's going to endorse an open process, as they're calling it. And then they'll take it to the convention and ask the first set of delegates to decide. And if they can't decide overwhelmingly, then they'll move it to the next layer of delegates. It sounds like they've gotten through a pretty detailed process for how they would actually make this go forward. And then the hopes are that Harris does survive at that process, because she would then be able to inherit the money that they've raised. And they're going to, but it's kind of odd that he is not going to, if this happens the way this insider is telling it's been laid out, if it plays out that way, then that, that's an interesting approach. We'll have to see what happens at their convention, but we'll probably watch as the weekend unfolds. If this is true, if this insider source has really got the deets, then it will, sounds like it'll be known by Sunday. This is information that came out before the information, or after the information that we just talked about, where they said absolutely not, we're not dropping out. So maybe he wakes up and doesn't even remember what decision he's made, if he's staying in or staying out.
Well, and it's from a Newsmax commentator, Halperin, which I am not super familiar with. I've seen them on clips and different things around, but I don't actually get Newsmax. But as far as the source behind this, is that a ploy in itself? All the news agencies, especially the ones that have been taken off half of their normal, networks, Newsmax was removed from a lot of stuff, was it not? It wasn't that the big thing that we talked about before, was Newsmax was removed from satellite or one of them, right?
No, I think they're back. I think they just had their issue with what was going on with the selection process and how people were, what they were saying about it.
Okay, I was thinking that Newsmax actually got taken off of the networks, or at least one of them. Well, either way, as far as what's going on, I guess we'll see. At the same time that T-Man did his big speech tonight, which they said that over 40 million were supposed to tune in. We don't know how many people actually tuned in, and between all of the websites that were playing it and playing it live, all of the YouTube channels that were playing his long speech tonight, this was a very odd event. So again, smoke can be seen rising from near the U.S. consulate in Tel Aviv following reports of a loud explosion. Now, they say that this was near a consulate, and they even have pictures of what looks like the wing of a drone. Now, was this a message to T-Man? It was the timing of it. That was the most crazy part, is right before he went to speak, this came out. Now, there may be updates that are coming out as we speak. If you're watching the replay tomorrow, maybe they have a full scoop on this, but as of now, this happened right before he got up to speak. So some thought maybe Iran is sending a message, or is this supposed to take the, I guess, the attention away from the speech? Dex, go ahead.
Well, and the other interesting thing is if you line up the timing of when this actually started to be reported on X, it was about the exact same time when T-Man left the audience, which was during the speech, right before the speech or at the beginning of the speech of his lawyer. Which was followed by Tucker, and he was gone. And then he comes back to the audience. So for some reason he left and he came back. At first I was like, well, maybe he's just going to go get ready behind the scenes because he's got to speak later. But then he was speaking much later. So, and he did come back and sit back down. So some were speculating maybe they were telling him something or he was getting information. I don't know if they would actually give that kind of detailed information to him. And maybe it was important enough that he needed to leave for them to talk to him about.
Yeah, and we went on later tonight because there was no point in trying. We're live, so if people are watching an event like that live, where millions and millions of people are going to watch, a good chunk of our audience is going to be watching. There's no. It's not like I'm going to try to compete with that. I sat and watched, and I thought a lot of that whole thing was very well put together. As far as there are some things that. A lot of people were making fun of this weekend, which is the rap video they put out. Did you see that, Dex? The rap video that they played at the RNC? It was like...
but I saw the Kid Rock performance, but no, I didn't see the video.
I saw positive stuff about the Kid Rock performance, but there was a rap that had this woman who I've seen in documentaries because she's like one of those video vixens. It's this guy and this gal that are doing this rap song, and they're like, it's all in for T-Man. Even everybody said it was across the aisles. Both parties were saying that it was kind of tacky and that it was quite silent afterwards. I don't know. I thought it was more like, it felt like a 90s song, like something from Vanilla Ice or something. It had that vibe, but maybe that's what people needed. At the end of the RNC, they've got that traditional, aye or nay thing to end it. I guess I don't think I paid attention that close during the last one. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say the Hulk Hogan, I thought was, at least for me and people in my generation, was everybody got excited about that. If you guys saw it, that was pretty impressive.
Ripping his shirt.
Yeah, it was just good to see him be Hulk Hogan again.
Yeah, I love there's a clip of a kid that walks into a store and he imitates Hulk Hogan to him, and he starts giving him crap. He's like, oh, don't you talk to me. Hulk Hogan starts his thing, and then the kid goes out and basically beats him at his own game, and Hulk Hogan just listens to him for like 5 minutes. Hulk Hogan, I think, is pretty cool. Well, so these events, who knows if they are connected or not. This could very well be a really scary escalation. We'll find out later. And we're going to talk about, of course, what is happening right now. As we speak, there are movements happening all around the world. We truly believe war is coming. No matter which way you look at the what's going on with our country, you have to realize that either way that this pendulum swings, somebody is going to be extremely, extremely pissed. We even saw people at the convention, officials and different people in charge, stating that people need to get unhinged if he does not take the spot. So this could go one way or the other. I think either way we are going to see disturbances. Dex, go ahead.
Just a quick shout out to Lisa Douglas, since put my message up earlier. Thank you so much for the super.
Thank you, Lisa, and I hope you can join us even for a few minutes on the next show, which we're about to talk about all of the rest that's going on. They're further threatening NATO with nuclear threats as far as Russia goes. There's a lot in the news about what's happening with China. There's lots of weird things. As far as the next war, our former president just made a comment, and all of his speech was kind of revolving around, well, if I get in, then we're not going to go to war. But there's, of course, the question, what if somehow, miraculously, even though it looks like he is going to win, something happens and he does not, or some emergency happens, or there's another day like the 13th that happens again. If something happens between here and November, we're talking about it looks as if it is guaranteed if he's not in there. If he is in there, can he really stop it? Can he stop the next world war? And that is exactly what it is lining up to be. We'll talk about that on our next show over on Marfoogle TV. If you haven't been over to our sister channel, that's where we go in depth to all of the current events. So make sure to join us. Thank you, Dex, and thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to watch that next show. If you're watching the replay, click here. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out.